Good evening, wonderful people, great BIAFRANs, wherever you are on the face of this very planet. We welcome you to a very exciting edition of Radio Biafra presentation this very evening. Wherever you are, we welcome you. It doesn't matter where you are listening from. It doesn't matter where you are domiciled. We ask you to please endeavor to welcome those who are around you. We are live and we are direct. And Elohim will bear us witness this very evening that we shall propagate this very gospel of hope, this gospel of redemption, this gospel of emancipation, this gospel that will ensure the restoration of this very divine kingdom of the very Most High, this very land of Biafra, sacred and very holy, defiled by men of darkness, those who do not understand what it means to be a Biafran. This evening, this gospel must be preached, that the truth may be spoken, and that shame may befall the devil. Therefore, I will encourage each and every one of you to please endeavor to welcome those who are around you. If you do not know how to receive Radio Biafra, as usual, our platforms are radiobiafra.co. You can receive us via Facebook if that has been fixed. There are a plethora of listening posts that you can avail yourself of should you wish to participate and partake in this very gospel this evening. I welcome each and every one of you. And as I said earlier, as I welcome you, I will like you to also welcome other people who are around you. Please go and tell your neighbors, including the enemies of Ipob, the enemies of Biafra, that time has come that this very gospel may be preached. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, and by the grace of the very Most High, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. I welcome you with the time now standing at approximately 3 minutes past the top of the hour, 3 minutes past 7 p.m. here in the United Kingdom, precisely the same number of minutes past the top of the hour in Biafra land and wherever you are domiciled on the face of this very planet Earth. I welcome each and one of you. Therefore, I will say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you, depending on this time zone that you're listening to us from. People pretend or they want to be like us, but they can never be like us, because there is only one Ipob. There is only one set of people divinely mandated to restore Biafra. Only one set of people who can do it. Only one set of people that have the mettle to do it. And that is Ipob. That is why we will not relent. That is why we will never retreat nor surrender. That is why our march is continuous, onwards forever, until victory is assured, until Biafra is completely and wholesomely restored. Anybody trying to imitate, if you're trying to copy us, if you want to be like us, you are wasting your time, because you can never be. You do not have the heavenly mandate to do so. Only Ipob does. That is why we propagate this very gospel without fear before our enemies. That is why the zoo is vibrating, because of Ipob. That is the only name that strikes fear into the heart of the cabal. The only name that drives the caliphate insane. That name is Ipob and no other. Unless you talk about Ipob, nobody will take you seriously, but we shall get into that later on. But this evening, before we proceed, as we always do here on this hallowed platform, we hand over all our proceedings to the Most High Elohim, to Chukwokika Biama, to come and take complete and absolute control of our proceedings this evening. We want to hand him over not just this very program, but the entire project of Biafra restoration, because without Elohim we are nothing. Without Chukwokika Biama we fail to exist. There is nothing man can do about Biafra restoration. Only Chukwukika Biama can give us Biafra, not man, not mortal flesh. Only the ever-living immortal Elohim can give us Biafra. We must understand this. That is why we will sacrifice the land of Biafra to the glory of Elohim, that his name may be praised and worshipped forever and ever. We must pray this very evening, and I will pray from the book of Psalms, as I always do, and as I do for this very noble IPOB family 7 times every blessed day. Biafra says Chineke nna nke bi n'eluigwe, onye ngozi ya na-ebere na dịdị ma ruo mgbe ebighị ebi. Ọ basisi eluigwe ka nje iwe eji wefe ego ofufe n'ime abalị nna nke dị nsọ, n'ihi na ụmụ gị agbakọwo n'ụwa niile ka ha wee gee okwu nsọ nke gị, okwu nnapụta, okwu nzọpụta, okwu na-eduba n'ime ndụ. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị nna nke bi n'igwe, onye kere ihe niile kere eke mana onwe gị onye kere ya, onye ọ bụ na naanị ya bụ nwanne otu onye, Chineke nna nke ụmụ ogbenye, onye sị na ga-esi gbufa ihe wekpeleta nwa ogbenye nna nke dị nsọ. Chineke nna eze bụ onye anyị akpụ isi ala nye ụbọchị niile, na otuto na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma na mbuli elu nara ekele. Eze ndị eze, biko bịa ọsọsọ ka iwe bịa zọpụta ụmụ gị gị na IPOB nna nke dị nsọ. Ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra ebe niile nọ na ahụhụ karịrị ahụhụ, anyị na-eri uju, mkpakasị ahụ karịrị akarị ebe niile. Onye nwe biko bịa ka iwe nyere anyị aka. Lekwa ndị niile ka ha rabụ ndị kuniri ka ha wee megide ụmụ gị, ka ha rabụ ndị kuniri ka ha wee megide IPOB. Chineke nna nke anyị na-efe wee na-akpụ isi ala anya, onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-achị, onye ike niile dị na ọ gbadara aka ya, ọ bụ IPOB ka m na-enyefe gị n'aka n'uhuruchi ya, n'igbo ụwa niile na-ege anyị ntị n'olu. Ka amara gị wee zuo oke n'ime ndụ anyị, ka ebere gị wee mụbaa n'ebe anyị nọ, ka ihere wee bụrụ nke ha niile, ka ha rabụ ndị na-agba anyị mgbe okpuru, ka ha ra nna nke igwe bụ ndị na-achụgharị mkpụrụ obi anyị. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke bi n'igwe, na nke a bụ ekpere na-ekpere gị na nzuzo ụbọchị niile, ka m na-ekpepụta ike igwe mmadụ nọ n'elu ụwa wee nụ ya n'abalị a. N'ihere ga-abụ nke ndị dị etu a, ọgba aghara ga-abụkwa oke n'ọlụ ha niile n'otu n'otu, bụ ndị isi na ụmụ gị agaghị aṅụ mmiri na ọtọgbọ iko. Bịakwa ka iwe chụghachi ha azụ ma tinye ha n'ọgba aghara, were ọchịchịrị wee sakwasa ha olu ulu nke ha onwe ha gworo anyị ha ma ga-adabịa n'ime aka nsị ha ga-aba ha ọnụ. Ndị ire abụọ, ndị na-ekwu okwu abụọ, ndị na-enweghị ihe ọbụla ha sọkwasara okwu nna nke dị nsọ, ha wee kunie wee na-arụ ọnwụ ekwensu. Eze ebube dị ngozi ga-ala ha n'iyi n'otu n'otu, n'ihi anaghị m efe arụsị. Sọsọ Chukwu ka bịa maka na-efe nna nke dị nsọ. N'otu aka ezinụlọ gị bụ IPOB, ndị Igbo kpọpụrụ iwe za ha ekpere agbanyeghị ihe nke nwe nwanyị gabiga nna nke dị nsọ. Anyị wee na-asị, lekwa ha na-achụghachi ha azụ ka ha rabụ ndị ha na ndị iro na-enwe mmekọ. Ofu ụbọchị ha na-ekwu okwu Biafra, nke ọzọ ha gbara wee gawa ugwu Awụsa. Ihe ọbụla Fulani nyere ha atụtụrụ wee tinye na akpa wee pụta wee na-akụrịrị ka ndị si mepere nna nke dị nsọ. Ka ara ha gbaa ha wee gbaba ha n'ime ọhịa, ka ara ha gbaa ha wee gbaba ha n'ebe a na-azụ ahịa, ka ara chegaba ha gaga enwe ngwọta nna nke dị nsọ. N'ihi na ndị osi akarịala, ndị ama akarịala, ndị na-esiwe n'aka ndị dị etu a wee bata ụmụ gị n'ime nna nke dị nsọ. Chineke nna nke igwe onye anyị na-efe, jide ndị dị etu a mala ha n'iyi, n'ihi na ọ bụ ọlụ ọchịchịrị ka ha na-alụ, ọrụ ekwensu ka ha na-alụ. Chineke nna nke bi n'igwe arịọ ka anyị na-arịọ gị, kama lekwa anyị onwe anyị bụ ndị na-achịrị gị, ezinụlọ nke gị nwe hiwere bụ IPOB n'ụwa niile. Anyị onwe anyị bụ ndị nwe ezi ịhụnanya na mmasị ebe okwu nsọ gị nọ. Ọ bụ ya mere mgbe niile ka anyị na-achọ onye nwe anyị na anyị ga-ebuli aha nsọ gị elu. Chineke nna nke igwe na anyị ga-aja gị mma, ọka aka ada anyị ga-akpụ isi ala nye gị. Anyị enweghị onye ọzọ ma ọ bụghị naanị gị. IPOB enweghị chi ọzọ anyị na-efe ewezụga gị, Chineke nna nke bi n'igwe, onye ndị Igbo na-akpọku aha nsọ ya. Akwa ndị mmụọ ozi na-abụ abụọ ma wee nye aha nsọ gị nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Ndị okenye eru abụọ na wee na-atụ mkpọ ọla edo n'ala sị na ịdị nsọ na nsọ ka onye nwe anyị dị. IPOB wee na-ekwu n'abalị na asị na ịdị nsọ. Chineke nna nke igwe, nara otuto na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma, nara mbuli elu, nara ekele, ka ngọzi gị wee zuo oke n'ime ndụ anyị, ka ụwa niile wee konye ofu ụbọchị wee si n'ezie n'ezie na ụmụ IPOB bụ ụmụ Chineke nna, ka ịma mma gị wee pụta ihe n'ime ndụ anyị, ka ụwa niile wee zukọ wee sị n'oge rule mgbe a ga-eji ahapụ ụmụ Chineke ka ha wee laga nwere onwe ha. Nna nke dị nsọ gọzie anyị ma duo anyị. Gbasara anyị ozi ọma nke gị nna nke ebere n'ime igwe, nna nke igwe, biko na n'otuto mgbe niile, nara mbuli elu mgbe niile, site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise. I prayed in the language of heaven. People deliberately misunderstand us. They misunderstand what we are doing. But we must preach this very gospel very fervently, because there is no other way that it can be done. There is no other way that it can be explained. If you're not in the spirit, you can never understand what IPOB is doing. For you to understand what we are doing. Cannot understand. If you're a liar, you can never understand IPOB the way we function. Because we have come that Biafra may be restored. We have not come for any other purpose, just to restore the kingdom of heaven upon the face of this very earth. Some people are confused, but tonight I will put you on the path of the straight and the narrow that will lead you to eternal life. And all those other people who are perambulating all over the place and making an absolute and complete mess of themselves, they will only lead you astray and lead you into destruction. Children of darkness. After tonight, they will no longer exist. We have chased their forebears away. They only operate in the realm of fake Facebook accounts. They can no longer argue nor debate with their names. Now the entire zoo has come against us. They have come against the children of light, but light will always prevail over darkness. For some of you who are new to these very efforts to restore Biafra, the achievement of IPOB speaks for itself. Only IPOB is being discussed all over the world. There is no other movement apart from IPOB. That is one inescapable fact that even our most ardent detractors cannot deny. You that is yapping all over the place, if you do not talk about IPOB, nobody will know you exist. For you to be relevant, you must mention two names, IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu. Without those two, you are absolutely nothing. When we called for a boycott, the zoo was vibrating. We called off the boycott and they went into disarray. That is how powerful IPOB is, by the grace of Elohim, not by man. Because everything we do is directed by heaven, not by mortals on this very earth. That is one thing our people must understand this very evening. I ask you to come with your pen and your paper, and I'm sure you heeded my call. I will also ask you to make sure that you have a workable internet-enabled device around you, because we are going to do some mini research of our own this very evening. I called for the boycott in exercise of a mandate given to me by the Directorate of State of the Indigenous People of Biafra, the governing arm of our movement, and by extension the entire global worldwide family, because I have the mandate to do whatever it takes to ensure that Biafra is restored. That was the mandate that was given to me. In case some of our people have forgotten, that is the mandate which I keep exercising every blessed day of my life. Our boycott was absolutely necessary, and we utilized it to very good effect. And today we have a signed document attesting to that very fact, that not only is IPOB formidable, when the dust settles, the world will realize that their only hope is IPOB. Not in a political party, not in politicians, but in IPOB and no other. We asked for this boycott when people were still sleeping. We are the catalyst for the restructuring debate in the zoo. That very fact is undeniable. There is nobody today discussing restructuring in the zoo. If they are honest, they will reference IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu in the process. They know that. We are the originators of anything that has to do with some sort of revolution in that very zoo today. Why did we insist on boycott? And why did some fools, I call them fools because they are foolish. They don't know anything. They are foolish because they don't have the liver. They don't have what I call the balls to actually sustain any credible fight to its logical conclusion. These are people you can just buy because they have no conscience. They have nothing to offer. They talk because they want to attract attention to themselves. They speak eloquently sometimes because they want to draw the attention of the caliphate, so people can perhaps induce them, as they have always done, to abandon what we all agreed ought to be done in pursuit of earthly glory and money. Nothing else. Unfortunately for them, they think I'm like them, but they know I am not. So the only way they can perhaps remove the cloak of shame from their faces is to go about pretending that we are like them, when they know for sure that before we came, there was none like us. Before IPOB came, there was anything like IPOB before? The answer is no. As credible and as formidable as we are, the answer is no. Now that we are here, do we have anybody who can challenge or rival our position? The answer is no. And long after we are gone, the living will wish we lived forever. Till tomorrow. For you to be published in a newspaper in the zoo, for you to be referenced in any conversation in the zoo, you must mention IPOB and you must mention Nnamdi Kanu. That is where they derive their relevance from. And I'm absolutely shocked and amazed that our people spend time responding to idiots who don't deserve our time, thereby perhaps fueling their ego and their recharge card which their masters give them from the north. These are rats. They are not worth debating or having a conversation with. Ask any of them that you come across, which country have you been to agitate for Biafra? How many government officials of the world have you met? Where can you be cited as a credible group that exists on the ground in Biafra land? They have no local standing. They have no position. They only exist in the realm of perhaps one or two social media pages and a sprinkling of public announcements now and then. They don't exist. The only people that exist is IPOB. We are in over 88 countries of the world, the most credible, the most formidable freedom fighting outfit on the face of this planet Earth. There is no government in the world that doesn't know about IPOB. And as you all know, I have been to see some of them. It's not everything that we put out in the open. After all, when I told you about our transmitter, the same people that were clamoring for me to show them where the transmitter was were the ones that called DSS and told them where it was, and they went and seized it. That is how they operate. Evil people, brimming with evil, sadistic souls, but they will never survive. Let us start from the beginning, where this whole thing began. This evening, as with most of our recent broadcasts, I want those of you with internet access, or should I say internet-enabled device, to please go to Google and do a very simple search. I want to prove to you how useless Nigerians are. I want to prove to you how cowardly they are. I want to prove to you this night with this simple search that only IPOB is dependable. I want to prove to you that we have come that Biafra may be restored. I want to also prove to you that all those yapping and talking rubbish, that they are beneath contempt. Beneath contempt. And I'm actually astonished that some people inbox to ask me silly questions about non-entities that shouldn't be discussed nor mentioned. Go to your Google search this very evening and key in the words, no restructuring, no election. Very, very critical, very, very important. no restructuring, no election. And I want you to please kindly go through all the news items that will appear under this very search to understand that another name for IPOB is consistency, which everybody lacks, both in Biafra and in the wider zoo called Nigeria. I want to prove to you that this is the reason why they are jealous of our consistency, our indefatigability, our ability to remain on the truth and say no until we get what we're looking for, which we have already anyway. That's why they kept postponing the elections. You don't know that? Jibril knows that after the elections, he will be hunted down like a rabbit and sent to jail. First for impersonation, and secondly for genocide, which Obiano is continuing tonight. We shall get to Obiano later on. We have the pictures to prove it. That Obiano, as I told you before, the people who don't listen, the idiots that were asking me to vote in Anambra elections, the idiots that came and asked me to vote, you can see what Obiano is doing to our people, doing the bidding of Fulani Caliphate. We shall get to that later. Obiano, tomorrow when we revenge, tomorrow if I give the order for revenge attack to be carried on Obiano, people will start complaining. Obiano, as at this night, our people are flooding, or should I say flooding? They are being packed and taken to DSSS headquarters in Abuja. Ask them. As I'm speaking to you right now in Anambra, Obiano, in conjunction with some traditional rulers, have instigated a raid everywhere to pick up any Biafran. If you are IPOB sympathizer or not, it doesn't matter. They will just pick you up and send it to Abuja because he's upset. I called off the boycott. I want people to understand the intrigues enmeshed in the politics of the damnable zoological republic, the heart of darkness. But most of them cannot see it because they are black. They can't reason very well. And some of you will remember what I told you when we started about Igbo people. I'm Igbo myself, IGBO. And I told you that I'll never fight for Igbo. I'll only fight for Biafra. And I told you why that name is cursed. I said that before. Look at the way they are behaving. But we shall get to that later. What I want you to do this evening is to please go to Google and type in no restructuring, no election. Ikechukwu is in touch with me from Israel, and he will tell me this evening, he will be the one to tell me this evening if our people are following this very program or not in the way that I want it to be followed. If you type in no restructuring, no elections in your Google search engine, this is what you are going to come up with. You will see there is one from the Independent. Let me not even go to the... I have to start all the way from the beginning. All the way from the beginning. For the world to know. You will see no restructuring, no 2019 elections, 7 leaders. The Sun newspaper. Not Nnamdi Kanu, not IPOB. These are men, supposed men of honor, from the whole of the South, by which I mean South, Southeast, South, South, and Southwest, and some parts of Middle Belt. What did they say? They said this on 18th of August 2017, at the height of our agitation when I was conducting rallies all over Biafra land. What did they say? No restructuring, no 2019 election. They were waiting for IPOB. They were waiting for Nnamdi Kanu. And when I came out and we gave them the momentum, everybody started speaking. Remember what they said? No restructuring, no 2019 elections. These are men of honor. These are men that people sometimes ask us to regard their word as something. We'll continue. The Nation, Yoruba paper, Tinubu's paper. No restructuring, no vote. Ohaneze tells presidential hopeful, no restructuring, no vote. Ohaneze. I hope people are seeing what I'm saying. Just go to Google and type in no restructuring, no elections. You will begin to understand that initially the agreement was, if there is no substantial movement in terms of devolution of powers to the regions, there will be no election. This was what I asked Ohaneze to get for me from Jubril before my house was invaded and my men killed, including my dog and my cousin. This was what I asked Southeast governors to take to Abuja. Ask them for something. Not for IPOB, not for Nnamdi Kanu. Ask them to make structural and fundamental changes in the system that our people may be free. They will tell you, that's what I asked for. And by the way, somebody reminded me before I came on air that only 2 people ever in the history of Biafra has put Biafra before themselves. I have met Nyanwood and Ohaneze before. I have met Igbo governors before. I have met other people that they sent to come and see me and to talk to me. Ask them what my demands were in all of those occasions they came to see me. Otis Okalu came to see me in prison. Ask him what were my demands. They never change. What are you going to do for my people? Not me. For my people. Despite every offer, I said, no, you must do something for Biafra. Because I'm not here on my own. I'm here representing a people, an entire nation. If you go to your Google search results, you will see 2019, no restructuring, no vote, says Ohaneze, Nation Online, no restructuring, no 2019 election. Southern leaders said this. Everywhere you go to, that was what they said. Now ask yourself this very simple question. Why did they fall by the wayside and allow only IPOB to continue the boycott that had everybody in the South, as we planned it, joined this boycott from the beginning? By now, DC would have collapsed or turned into a better place. It's there for the whole world to see. I'm sure it's getting more clearer now. Ask yourselves, before Igbo leaders capitulated, before Ijo leaders capitulated, that is Southeast, Southwest, Yoruba leaders, South, before they said or before they agreed to go and vote, ask them, did you get what we were asking for? It's there for the whole world to see. How come these men that claim they are people of honor and integrity, how come you were saying in 2017, 2018, no restructuring, no voting? All of a sudden, you have no restructuring. Jubril is busy slaughtering and killing people, appointing only Fulani Islamic security chiefs, basically ruling and not leading with impunity. All manner of impunity. And you're still going to the polls to go and vote where you know there is a chance that this very election might be rigged. These were the things that all the leaders said. So not just IPOB. Everybody queued behind IPOB to say, if there is no fundamental changes within the system, we will all boycott. That was what they said. Now you wonder, how come they never stuck to their words? Because they are weak and they're not IPOB. It is only IPOB that stuck to what it said right from the beginning, that if there is no movement towards what we are asking for, our terms and our conditions, we will boycott until that was met. And the people who over the months, or should I say years, have been busy yapping and gossiping with heaven knows how many fake them They have never asked for the amalgamation document. They have never asked for anything. It's only from IPOB. Give us, give us, give us. The one I gave you before, where did it lead us to? Some of them that we allowed into IPOB and gave them, what should I say, reasonable position. What became of them? They went back and now are informants for the Nigerian government. They were in IPOB before, high-ranking officers in IPOB, but today they're informants. So we are very, very careful as to who we deal with or who we allow into our secret and our mode of operation. They said no restructuring, no voting is in the cable, no restructuring, no vote. Ijo youths won. Ijo youths. We are unbreakable. I mean unbreakable. We fought the entire world media and won. I said world media because till this very evening, CNN will not carry any news on Biafra. That hasn't stopped us from making waves all over the world. We fought the zoo, the might of the zoo, with their petrodollar and their well-paid consultants all over the world. And we brought them to their knees. We vaporized Al-Haji Lai Mohammed and his lying Ministry of Information. We fought the zoo media and we won. Who are these wretched cockroaches that people won't let me rest? Because you respond to them, that is where you feed them with the relevance that they crave. You don't know, each time you write or you respond to what they are saying, they get more recharge card from the north. Ignore them and they disappear because they're irrelevant. Go and check their profiles on Facebook. They don't exist. They don't exist. Try calling them. They don't exist. And the great family of IPOB allowed itself to be taken for a ride by people who are irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. They talk about us. That's a thing of joy for us, that these inconsequential beings craving for relevance from the zoo will talk about us. I warned people. Everything happening in the zoo, I warned our people about, and today it has all come to pass. But sometimes, you know, that Igbo man disease of greed, envy, and jealousy. From 2012, I've been preaching. In fact, from 2009, I've been preaching it. Greed. Three things. The cardinal sins of an Igbo man. Greed, envy, and jealousy. But unfortunately for them, I thrive when people envy me or jealous of IPOB. Or they get greedy and they want to try what IPOB is doing, because I know they will fail. Because service to Biafra is only by divine ordination. Elohim has to appoint you to do this very work. If you're not appointed, you can't do it. You'll only be flapping all over the place. After a while, you collapse and fall by the wayside, like the rest did. If you're not strong, you cannot do this. You cannot even stay strong. You said no restructuring, no election. You couldn't even stand it. All of you fell by the way. Everybody collapsed. Let us go and vote. Let us go. They were dancing all over the place. And I said, until the document is signed. They now came up and started pretending they never heard me when I said that I have some terms and conditions that must be met before I lift the boycott. Every program I've done, starting from Israel, is replete with this very statement. If they want me to leave the boycott, they know what to do. They heard it, but they are pretending. No, we never heard it for one day. The idiots making their useless videos online. You know, shameless pigs making their videos online. So you don't know that I've been saying this from day one. Meet my conditions and I will lift the boycott. Those conditions were met and the boycott was lifted. So I keep asking, what is then is your problem? Oh no, you just want to say something so your handlers from the north can be pleased with you. They fabricate all manner of nonsense against IPOB. Ask them to provide one shred of evidence, there is none. But we have loads against them. If I wanted to be a very wealthy man, I would have agreed to the deal I was offered right inside DSS, not even when I went to Kuje prison. But I turned it down. Kuje prison, they came and I turned it down. I went to court and I called Buhari was alive before Jubril came along, a madman. Some of you can't even go to your local village DPO and call him a madman. That is who we are, without fear before our enemies. As I said before, the same way they signed our document, the day we lift arms to fight the zoo, the world will know about it. And if they continue the way they are going now, that day is drawing ever closer. Can you imagine some of these noisemakers in a situation room with us or in a war cabinet with us? Before we finish the meeting now, Alhaji will know in the north. Useless, hopeless people without honor and shame. If I had taken money from the zoo, I'll be a millionaire now. Maybe perhaps I'll own 1 or 2 schools abroad as well. But I love my people. Chukwu Abiyama said if I can't even think about it. I can't even think about it. So my life is involved in what I'm doing. And our destination is Biafra. Look at all what they said. No restructuring, no election. Without restructuring, we cannot vote. Everybody felt a typical black scenario. No discipline, no honor. They all fell apart. Hunger. The same reason why Che Guevara left Congo when he came. That a black man cannot put the need of the stomach over and above that of his freedom. And you expect him to stay. No. Do you see where there hasn't been any serious revolution in black Africa? Because all these people that you see yapping all over the place, they are typical black African people. They just make noise, they do nothing. They don't have the guts to do anything or stand on what they proclaimed. Everybody was shouting no restructuring, no election. And then what happened when they started spraying the Naira bills and the dollar bills around? What happened? They all fell by the wayside. They all collapsed. Their shame and humiliation is that IPOB did not collapse with them. That is their shame. That all of a sudden IPOB said no. Of course, we stuck at it. Will not see what Ibazo is doing. What Umahi is doing. The day that we decide to retaliate, every idiot will be everywhere talking nonsense. This night, I want those pictures released everywhere. I want it tweeted and posted to every government in the world. This is what Obiano is doing. Obiano, if I give the order for the same thing to be done to your children, will you be happy? The answer is no. Then why are you doing it to other people? Do you see how foolish our people are? APC wants me to boycott. PDP wants me to lift the boycott. It's like the devil's alternative. When I say no boycott, we are being attacked by PDP errats. When I said boycott, we are being attacked by PDP errats. I said no boycott has been lifted. APC unleashed their own people. And the funny thing is that they are all answering Igbo. And I don't even believe that Igbo, to be honest with you. It's very easy to do. If you check on Channels TV tonight, there is somebody or a company saying they want to recruit 57,000 people on social media, and you must have about 200 friends. That's what they do. They're not Igbo. They are fake people with fake names. Our people are too intelligent for them. But that's what they do. But what is telling me is that some of you allow this nonsense to get to you. You allow it to affect you. So if this rubbish can affect you when we go to war, what are you going to do? I said it before that only one leaflet from a helicopter up telling you that your leader has been captured or has been shot dead, all of you will abandon the field and run away. I said that before in 2012. That is why we need men before we march. I've been saying it all the time. So you have some idiots somewhere in the pay of one political godfather or the other yapping rubbish, and some of you you allow such nonsense to affect you. I said it before and allow me to repeat. I love trouble. If there is no trouble around me, I create one myself. All these things are necessary. Look at it this way. It's like the body and your immune system. If you raise a child that suffered no infection, no viral infection, no bacterial infection, by the time they're in their teenage years or early 20s, if any illness, invades their body, so to speak, they'll be dead, because they're not used to fighting illnesses and diseases from childhood. That is how we are in IPOB. That is why we love every battle that comes our way. It only makes us a lot stronger than we were before. And that is why we have always won every battle we've gone into. This is not even a battle. They're trying to use a new method, perfected in the USA. Because we are on the right path. It stops tonight because we are doing the right thing. It stops tonight because everybody collected money and fell by the wayside. If you're looking at your Google search results tonight, no restructuring, no election, you will know that it was only IPOB that stood firm until it got what it was looking for. The rest fell apart. Yoruba, Igbo, everybody, they all ran away. Collected money and ran away. Because they are not people of honor. And who will blame them? They are not IPOB. We are sanctified. That is one thing about us. And that is why we are going to prevail. If you have any doubts, go and check it. So the boycott that we kept hammering on and talking about is not just something that fell out of the air. They say we will boycott. Everybody. Edwin Clark will boycott. The very respected father, Ayadebanjo, a man I love very much, said we'll boycott. My own father himself, Professor Ben Wabeza, said we are going to boycott. Without an agreement, we'll boycott. He told me in confidence. Everyone knows I revere him and I respect him and will always do all the days of my life. The facts are there for the whole world to see. Only IPOB stood firm until we got what we're looking for. Therefore, we must proceed. If they ask you next time, point them to this and ask them what became of it. Because we are fighting to free our people from eternal bondage and damnation in the zoological republic. That is something that our people must know and come to respect, I hope. And what is the fallout of our boycott that we lifted. Because we lifted this very boycott, the zoo fell apart. Ask yourself this question. If they had wanted to postpone the election, do you think they would have waited until 5.5 hours before the polls open for them to announce the postponement? It's because APC was hoping that IPOB boycott will give them the opportunity to rig the election and say a lot of people didn't vote anyway. Once I lifted the boycott, all their plans fell apart. The only option left was to postpone it, so they can go back to the drawing table and start planning again. There's some people have been writing and saying, oh no, it's not that, USA funds some people and all the rest of it. That is nonsense. The zoo is, on paper at least, a sovereign nation. The only reason why the cabal with Jubril fronting them postponed the election is because they know that the game was up. That IPOB calling off the boycott was the end of them. They knew it. And even at that, some idiot said that I'm working for APC. Do you see how foolish some black people are? Honestly, I feel sorry for us sometimes. That is how daft and useless we are. And I said to them, name one person, instance, or event. I will never, not in a trillion years, contemplate doing anything else other than to restore Biafra. And our people know this. Not the baby saboteurs. What is the fallout of the boycott? You can see it. All the petty yapping going on is because they know. We have them by the balls and they understand that. We are the most potent force on this very planet. Imagine the day we take up arms, what will happen? The most potent on the face of this very IPOB is. And I say it with every degree of certainty. If you go to DSS headquarters tonight, our people are there being arrested. We remain resolute and determined. Resolute and determined. In Anambra, we are being hunted down. Even this night as I speak, very resolute and determined. We can never ever capitulate. In Aba the same, they are killing us in broad daylight. In order to instill fear. State terrorism, if there was one. And some unconscionable idiots are busy online talking rubbish. Idiots that had the opportunity to do something but failed to do it, instead collected money, put it in their pocket, hoping that I'll be like them. But unfortunately I'm not. I am Nnamdi Kanu. Understand that very name very well. Nnamdi Kanu is my name. I don't play politics of Black Africa. I don't play politics of the zoo. I don't do what I do because I want to be comfortable. I have sacrificed everything sacrificable, and I will sacrifice even more. If you understand, you do. If you don't, you don't. Those who are opposed to voting all of a sudden wanted to go and vote. Ask yourself, why did you change? You have all the results from Google. You do the maths yourself. Obiano with his friends. Obiano, Igbo governors. Umahi. Okezi Bazu. People are aware. They see the pictures online and they don't comment. They keep quiet. They tie our hands behind our back as if we have stolen something from anybody. All we are asking for is freedom, the right to agitate for self-determination. Look at the way they're treating us. Nobody has ever seen a Fulani headsman arrested. None of these people, both the Imo State Governor, Okorawusa, Obiano, Nyawood, all the rest of them ganging up against IPOB, none of them have reason to speak against Fulani headsmen that go about killing people. But everybody is comfortable with IPOB being killed every blessed day, being molested, being treated like common criminals. You are all seeing it now with your mouths shut. The day we decide to march, you'll be online and yapping like an eri. Now that your so-called governor, Obiano, is busy killing our people in Anambra because of in fact, a Sudanese man, Jubil. None of you will say it. Everybody is quiet. All these criminals, all of you are now quiet as you're seeing the atrocities being perpetrated by Obiano. All of you are seeing it now. All those people you're giving your funny friends in police order to go and kill and arrest. Some of them, they have mothers and fathers, all of them, as a matter of fact. Think of how it will be should your own children encounter similar fate. How will you feel? All those idiots pontificating on social media, I hope you're aware of what Obiano is doing tonight. I hope you're aware of what Fulani police commissioners are doing in our land tonight. I hope you're aware of what the army is doing in our land tonight. As I'm speaking to you, they're in Anambra arresting people. As I'm speaking to you, they're in Aba shooting people dead tonight. And some of you are so shameless. You are so foolish and so stupid. You don't even know who has come to save you from your ignorant self. That's how bad it is. Do you think it is a coincidence that Africa is at the bottom of the pile in the whole world? That black people are below the lowest animal on earth? Are you surprised? It is in our brain, the way we reason, the way we behave, the way we interpret and analyze, even utilize information. There lies the key. That is why IPOB is different. And that is why no amount of intimidation, no amount of arrest, no amount of extrajudicial killing is going to stop us from restoring Biafra. The sooner you understand this, the better for everybody. If I had taken money from anybody, I will not be speaking with the same authority I'm speaking to you with tonight. They all know it. Look at all those that compromised. Even those that had weapons that compromised. Can they speak with any authority? When the chiefs are down, they collect money and they keep quiet. But for us, our march is relentless. We continue until Biafra is restored completely and totally. If you know Obiano, go and remind Obiano, you have children. The people you're asking Fulani people to kill in Anambra tonight and arrest, they are somebody's children or child. Should something visit your family, you will not be happy. People pretend it's nothing. But it will happen to somebody very soon. And then they will know what they've done to themselves. No restructuring before 2019 elections. Remember that. Everybody else fell by the wayside. Only IPOB stood very strong until we got everything that we are looking for. Understand this very clearly. I'm not even sure the election on Saturday will hold, because Jubril will be chased away back to Sudan. Then you will know that Buhari is dead, because Jubril will run away. He cannot make all that millions of dollars and no one to enjoy it. He will run away. Remember before that they used to show him on the right hand side all the time. Now it's only because they've whoever did the plastic I won't call it the plastic surgery, I'll call it the cosmetics. Whoever is doing the makeup is doing a very great job these days. But I have one other expose to do, and that will shock them. I will not tell them in advance what I'm going to say about Jubril. That will shock the whole world. But even those that I'm actually telling about Jubril, do they have the capacity, do they have the mental capacity to actually comprehend the enormity and the magnitude of what I'm saying? I doubt that very much. I sincerely doubt that. Because if they had it in them to understand what they are being forced to endure, believe you me, they'll be the mother of all revolutions in this. But you can't do it because you're black. When I started doing Jubilee expose, I did not start doing it that somehow Nigerians will rise up and do something. No, because they've never reasoned. Is not Buhari will mark the end of the zoo as we know it. Everybody knows that very well. And listen carefully, forget all the pretenses. Oh, it's INEC's fault. Everybody knows that it was Buhari that shifted the elections. Everybody knows that very well. Not Buhari, Jubril of course, but they call it Buhari. And for the benefit of those who are too dumb to understand or to distinguish between Jubril and Buhari, that is why we call him Jubril Buhari. So you can take your pick. This very lawmaker in the USA, his name is Chris Smith, placed the blame squarely at the door of Jubril in Asorok and the cabal that is behind him. If you look at what this man said, it is very, very clear. They say that the zoo called Nigeria is the most populous nation in Africa. Anything should Nigeria implode, it will have a ripple effect. It will destabilize the region. That is why they keep managing, trying to see if there is a peaceful way that the dissolution of the zoo can happen. Because the world powers don't have the wherewithal to cater for the millions of refugees that will pour into their countries. They don't have what it takes to police the entire West Africa. That is why they keep managing this zoo and trying to see if there is any way that could be a humane solution to the myriad of problems afflicting that very damnable contraption. These are the things that people don't understand, which I am here to make very clear to you. There is a grand conspiracy to ensure that any truth you speak concerning or likely to affect the integrity of the sovereignty of the zoo will be shut down. They see the truth and they deny it. A very simple picture. Is it Jubril? The answer is no. Is this Buhari? The answer is no. Then who is the man then? Who is he? Is this the Buhari used to know? That of course they agree that that is not the Buhari they used to know. Then who is this man? They say forget it, let's go to the polls. People that sold their conscience to the devil have the temerity and the audacity to comment rubbish about IPOB. They have collapsed and they have fallen by the wayside, and we must continue. If you know Obiano, go and tell him to leave our people alone. Leave our people alone. You know, some of you are very good at forgetting. Tomorrow you will forget. Tomorrow you will all forget. Tell Obiano to leave our people alone. Our terms and conditions were met, and at the right time I will make the document public. The last time I made our transmitter public, some of you conspired with DSS to come and carry it from where it was. Some idiots even went as far as trying to tell them about our defense fund so they can also take it. That is how evil and wicked they are. We will not fall for their tricks. They've tried it before, it didn't work, and we are not going to allow them the benefit of responding to their little tittle tattle. In a few months to come, believe you me, some people will hang themselves in shame. That I can assure you. So we must remain very strong and very resolute as we proceed. As we proceed. Freedom fighting is not about empty noise making on Facebook. It's about having the liver to do what you say you will do. Some people were pretending. They never heard me say, if they sign our document, I will lift the boycott. It is there in every program I've been making all the way from Israel. Go and check it. You allow yourselves to be toyed with. We are IPOB. Some people were pretending. If I had chosen the route of all these people, by people who are not remotely connected to IPOB, are busy attaching themselves to a great movement because they are in search of relevance. That's all they're looking for. Today they come, IPOB is good. Oh, hail Biafra, Chineke, Shalom. They're wolves in sheep clothing. All they want to do is to come close to IPOB, gain relevance. They'll be settled by the government and they are gone. They start yapping rubbish. That is why I will no longer praise anybody on Radio Biafra. Never again. Unbelievable. My respect for Niger Delta Avengers remains undiminished because of the work they did initially. Remains undiminished because of the work they did initially. Maybe they allowed themselves to be hijacked by their politicians. That is why you no longer hear from them. But we in IPOB, we said no. Nobody can. It's impossible. You can't. That is why we are still very potent today. And that is why the zoo will fall. I can assure you. The zoo will definitely fall. On our terms. Not their terms. On our terms. And Jibril will be hunted. Like a church rat. All of them. They know they're in serious trouble. They know they're in very serious trouble. If you attack IPOB, we will come after you regardless of who you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. Once you open your mouth to, or you allow your fingers to type anything that remotely resembles an attack against IPOB, we will decimate you completely and totally without mercy. So in your next life, you will learn those you talk to and how you talk to them. We are IPOB. We are not like any other useless group we may have formed that no longer exists. No, we are here. We will exist forever and ever. As long as there is a Biafran child on the face of the earth, the name IPOB shall remain and will be remembered for all time. That's something that you ought to know. All of you put together. They want to get close to us as a bargaining power so their flanning masters can, perhaps pay them very well. The zoo is afraid of only two names, as I said earlier. IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu. Those are only two names they're afraid of. We have no guns and look at how they're chasing us all over the place. Distressing themselves for no reason. Trying to discourage us. All because we boycotted the elections and I lifted the boycott. We boycotted a number of elections. We said we boycott this until our terms are met. Our terms have been met and I lifted it. Today, Obiano is hunting our people. Now, Obiano is seeing himself that he could have benefited from a boycott. Do you see how the reason? Obiano is killing our people because of the cabal in the north that killed our people at Mpo. So he said. Do you see how they reason? And he will still have supporters by tomorrow. They are go wretched, hungry people. As somebody wrote very cleverly, they think everybody's as hungry as they are. Because you're hungry and you sold your conscience, you sold the struggle when you were in a position to negotiate a very good deal for your people, doesn't mean everybody's like you. We are very special. And I'm sure after tonight, they will come to that inescapable realization. And somebody wrote very cleverly that a strong man is a man that no matter how hard you try, he remains very resolute. Has my position changed since I was arrested? Even before I traveled to the zoo in 2015. Has it changed? The answer is no. But they have all changed, all of them. Biafra by day, something else by night. They will come to you and give you something and then start jumping all over the place. Of course I knew, or had known from the beginning, that there is no way Jubril can survive an election in this zoo. No, it's not possible. Everybody knows it's from Sudan. They know that thing there is not Buhari. Everybody knows that. So I know once there's an election, Jubril is gone. I know that. So they are only fighting a rear-guard battle to see if there is any way they can sustain themselves in power. They know that very well. I saw a program this evening which was quite compelling. I wouldn't say compelling in the sense that, but what the person said, I found it very interesting. Was it that Judoka was saying something on television? He said when they brought out Obasanjo in 1999, he contested against Olufalaye. Yorubas did not vote for Obasanjo, but Igbos did. Southeast and South did. There is something about our people that the others do not understand and can never understand about us. We are good people. By nature we are good people. Not minding all nonsense after the war. The rubbish that they impregnated in our land immediately after the war that gave birth to absolute hopeless idiots. Those born under the bridge in Lagos. Mama Sabi Igbo. That the only difficulties we are having, so to speak. We are a very good people, a wonderful race, very proud, a very, very proud people. And that pride is not only magnified, but exemplifies itself in IPOB. That is why when you're not planning Ganga, who gave birth to you? Who are you? We are IPOB. The very best thing that's ever happened to our people. IPOB is the best thing to ever happen to the whole of Africa. The very, very best. The very best. If you're an IPOB, you thank Chukwokika Abiyama because you're a chosen child of heaven who didn't suffer persecution. Everybody suffered persecution. Everybody suffered persecution. That today is right on top of the ladder. And our time is coming. And when that time comes, the world will know that one day, one evening, somewhere, this very voice spoke and said that Biafra will come. That we are going to remain truthful, whiter than white and whiter than snow always, without fear before our enemies, that Chukwukika Abiyama, that heaven and earth may bear us witness. That at a time, these men walk the face of this very earth. On that very note, I bring this very program to a conclusion. But before I do so, if you know Obiano, go and warn him to leave our people alone. Warn those of them in the Nigerian army. They love denying. We have the pictures. We have the videos. And I want it to be posted everywhere until it goes viral. So that the day we start revenging all these atrocities, nobody will blame us, because that day is coming. I can assure you it will come. Definitely it will come. We have not done anything to these people that derive so much pleasure and joy in killing us. Nothing. We said we won't vote, they came after us. We lifted the boycott, they're still coming after us. That tells you all you need to know about the zoo. I want all of you to be safe, those of you listening in Biafra land, and remain very strong and resolute. Remain very, very strong and resolute, because victory is ours, and victory is very, very close. From me, from here, thank you very much. And may Chukwu Okike Abiama pụrụ m ihe niile bless and keep each and every one of you now and forevermore. Ise, ise, ise.
Radio Biafra. Radio Biafra.
Wonderful people, great Biafrans wherever you are on the face of this very planet. This is a very special announcement this evening. This is Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB all over the world, and by the grace of Chukwu Okike Abiama, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. Earlier today, the 14th of February 2019, I received confirmation from our team that all of our preconditions placed before those seeking us to call off the election have been met. And in view of that, I hereby lift the boycott of the elections. IPOB was very steadfast. We have fought a very good battle. We have made it very clear to all and sundry that we are very, very determined. And this is victory for IPOB and victory for emancipation of Biafra. We said it from the beginning. Nobody should expect us to participate in any form of elections unless our demands are met. And I'm glad to tell you this evening that they have acceded to our demands and it will be fully implemented. I therefore ask each and every one of you to take this very good news to all our towns and our villages that the boycott has been lifted, that we may all go about on the 16th to discharge whatever duty that we have or whatever allegiance that we owe to any particular individual or groups of individuals. Never again will they take IPOB for granted, and never again will people underestimate our resolve and our resilience. We have showed it to them today, and we shall continue to demonstrate it until Biafra is completely restored. I thank you very much, and may Chukwuka Biama be with each and every one of you. Good evening from London.
Radio Biafra. Radio Biafra.
No retreat and no surrender. There are some people behind me. Any day I turn around and tell you, there is another way to do it. The next person behind me should shoot me dead, and then those that are alive should keep marching on. We don't stop, we don't retreat, we don't surrender. There is no stopping until Biafra comes. No stopping. Biafra must come. It must come. Allow me to worship Chukwuka Biama on behalf of the entire family listening right across the length and breadth of this very planet. Umu Chineke. All of you who are ordained, all of you who are destined to perform wonders, I welcome all of you. Now, I will present you to Chukwuka Biama in heaven. Therefore, our Father who resideth in heavens above, looking down upon the pain and the suffering of your children, as was foretold by those who has gone before us, that a day will come when the world will gang up, when all the children of darkness will congregate to prevail against your children. That time is now. We are in pain. We are in so much suffering that man cannot begin to comprehend it. We ask for your mercy. We ask for you to come and present and provide a way where there is none. We ask you to if we came do muginine the IPOB ne benine di chiche ruwe benine o wasoturu kidi magine beregi biko baso ha upoti ile kendo ha okwasi sueli igwe. We call upon you this evening. The vultures are congregating. The saboteurs are rising up. We are beginning to identify them. And we are dealing with them. We ask you to give us the strength. We ask you for courage. We ask you for every ounce of determination and resoluteness. Make us as hard as steel, as only you can do. Baptize us in your word, in your knowledge, in your truthfulness, and in your strength. Make it impossible for our enemies to come close to us. Destroy them before they come very close. We will be tempted, of course. Our defenses will be tried without a shadow of a doubt. Sometimes there may be breaches, but in the end we prevail because that is your word and that is your promise. This evening we hold on resolutely to that very command of yours. Your own spoken word. The word that you gave to your children when you said to them that they should not worship any idol. They should not bow before any graven image. We have made mistakes in our lives. We have bowed before European idols. We have done everything but worship you in truth and honesty. But now, having realized the errors of our ways, we present ourselves before you, that you may do with us as you please. So it was prayed thousands of years ago. That same prayer will re-echo because we are nothing without you. We are nothing without you. We can have the best defenses in the whole world. We can procure the finest anti-jamming equipment available. But it is you that will defend your inheritance. You will defend Biafra. You know that we are honest and truthful people. You know that we preach this gospel in the knowledge that your children must be free in the land of the living. That they may go back and worship you in Zion as they have done thousands of years ago. This is our prayer, now and always, because we are your children. You can't abandon us to the forces of evil and darkness. That is not your will. And it can never be. That is why today, tomorrow and always, as you have called us to undertake this very monumental and epic task, as you have determined that your word must be preached in the land, that very land you gave to our ancestors thousands of years ago, so shall it be done in our lifetime. Allow us to be worthy to serve thee. Chukwa Biama, allow us to be considered worthy to serve you. You know we speak the truth. Our enemies are liars. They are cheats and they are killers. They are bloodthirsty bastards, all of them. All of them bar none. They have brought their lies to bear upon all their dealings. Their tongue is very spiteful against those of them who are righteous before your sight. Please don't allow shame to befall your children. Don't allow shame to befall your name, because we answer your name, we bear your name. That is why today we make this very prayer in the sure knowledge that Biafra will be restored as your own kingdom upon the face of the earth. That you will be worshipped every blessed day of our lives, as our children will do, and so will their children. Until time everlasting we have prayed in your name. Ise.
One thing I've noticed, Premier, while I've been here, is that Northerners seem to have, I might almost call it, obsession about the Igbos. Could you perhaps explain that to me?
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. if you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it northernized, and now all important posts are being held by northerners.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the north solely with northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or a permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a northerner first. If you can't get a northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract. If we can't, then we can employ another Nigerian, but on contract too. This is going to be permanent, I should say, as far as I can foresee, because it will be rather dangerous to see the number of boys who are now turning from all our learning institutions, coming out with having no work to do. I'm sure whichever government of the day might be, it will feel rather embarrassed, and it might even lead to bloodshed.
Doesn't this damage the idea, sir, of all people in all regions in Nigeria being fellow citizens of one country?
Well, it might, but you are, new to our region, but how many northerners are employed in the east or in the west? The answer is no. And if there may be 10 laborers employed only in the two regions.
Some people want to fight, and the problem of Nigeria is not gun and bullet. It's spiritual. It's spiritual. You can't fight an ideology with gun and bullet. Let me explain this. Sit down before we pray. Let me explain this. I'm worried. I'm worried. Fight an ideology. How do you fight an ideology? An ideology is like a spirit. You can't fight an ideology. You can't use gun and bullet to stop an ideology. The way to deal with an ideology, you engage it with wisdom. The only bullet that can kill an ideology is the bullet of knowledge. Wisdom. Wisdom. The only way to deal with the ideology is to go back to the founder of the ideology and reprogram the ideology and stand at the central processing unit of the ideology and make sure it is rightfully corrected. Look at, if you remove the leader, have you removed the ideology? There are more crazy Nnamdi Kanu that will come up after Nnamdi. They are just hiding under him. The only way to kill this is not by gun and bullet. It's by engaging with proper dialogue, with knowledge and wisdom. This cry we are hearing here is not a cry of children, it's a cry of adults. The only way, I am not an advocate that Nigeria should separate, God forbid. No. But I'm saying the best way to handle this, listen to the cry of the children. Sit down. Everything is not gun and bullet. When you take the leader away, okay, take the leader away. The next, how many people are on the street? Do you know how many spirit of Biafra have entered people? Do you know how many millions are carrying the spirit of Biafra around? So if you kill the leader or you take the leader away, can you take the spirit from everybody? Ojukwu is not here, but Biafra is alive. It's an ideology. The man who started it has left. Before he left, he kept quiet and lived peacefully and left. But the generation that have come have picked it up. And it's even worse than his own now. And they are engaging it with knowledge. So the best way to deal with this is not gun and bullet. It's not gun and bullet. When the revolution want to start, the revolutionists, the first thing they will do, they will pass the idea and impregnate their followers. The only way to stop it is to stop them before they impregnate the followers. But if the followers are impregnated, that's all. All of them are carrying pregnancy. They will soon deliver to other children. If you have 2 million Biafra, you already have 4 million Biafra. Because they are selling the ideology. And now, I don't have a problem. But my own concern is that you don't take woman's life. The best way to do that, you engage them in the ideology. If you feel the ideology is not correct, you dialogue. You sit down with them. If dignifying them will make them feel important, then do that. We can't be killing people and we're getting excited. No! Boko Haram is a terrorist group. Have you stopped them from killing? Are they not still killing? They're still killing. Did it start as a peaceful group? Yes. Were the ideology crazy? Yes. How do you engage it? Engage the leaders. And you see, some of these things are very spiritual. They are very spiritual. Very spiritual. See, something that can die within 15 days, it can stay there for 15 years because the way leaders are handling it. The issue of Biafra is so simple. You are agitating? Is this what you want? Then come for. Okay, let's do a referendum. Let's see how popular this your thing is. Or restructure Nigeria. That's all. Sit down with these boys. Make them feel important. How did the unrest in Niger Delta died? Yaradua did dialogue. That's the best way. This thing, everything gone. Bullet, everything, fight. Aggression, it will take us nowhere. The world is too civilized. Look at America. Look at the way they abuse Trump and they say everything. The guy with those bands and tweet again. He tweets and continue his life. That is what we call civilization. That is what we call. You can abuse me to hell. Say whatever you want to say. It doesn't stop it. I am the president and I am the commander in charge of wherever you are. You abuse, but I'm still your president. These things are just simple maturity. To fill a political office is not maturity. It's an appointment. I'm worried. I started talking about Biafra before this happened. And I was saying, let's kill this thing. Dialogue. Dialogue. Even we as fathers, our children will just do some things and we see it very stupid. But we have to give them audience. I just hear them and let them talk. And when they talk, what do? We judge and advise them. Sitting down at the table and talking, even to take us to discuss for 1 month, for life not to be lost, is more important than losing lives. If we have to engage Nnamdi Kanu and all the Biafra discussing, young man, what do you want? Let's do night vigil in discussing than losing millions of souls.
It's always been thought that violence and corruption during elections in Nigeria are homegrown problems, ones that Britain tried hard to prevent by bequeathing a system of fair and honest democracy before granting the country independence in 1960.
Look, we are not kids. We are mature people and the country is mature. We are giants of Africa.
But according to our document, the unpublished memoirs of a former British colonial officer, London's parting gift was, in reality, a lesson in how to rig the polls and deceive the people.
This is a story of evil committed by kind, nice, decent British politicians. They sought to keep Britain from bankruptcy and found a solution in the mineral-rich empire on the point of independence.